The National Electrical Code, or NEC, mandates a minimum height of 3 feet from the floor when mounting electrical panels. This requirement is detailed in NEC Article 404.10a, specifically addressing panel board access and clearance. The NEC stipulates that panel boards must be accessible and possess ample clear working space to enable safe operation and maintenance of the equipment. This accessibility includes adhering to a minimum height of 3 feet from the floor to the bottom of the panel. This 3-foot minimum height is crucial for several reasons. Firstly, it mitigates tripping hazards. Secondly, it facilitates easy access to the panel for operation and maintenance. Thirdly, it helps prevent children from reaching the electrical equipment. Additionally, the NEC dictates that disconnect switches must be mounted at a height of at least 6 feet 7 inches from the floor, a measure intended to prevent accidental contact with the switch. Therefore, the assertion that a 3-foot minimum height exists for panel mounting is accurate. The NEC enforces this minimum height to guarantee safety and accessibility. Consider the practical implications of these requirements in various settings. In a residential environment, ensuring the panel is mounted at the correct height prevents accidental contact, particularly by children, and allows for convenient access during routine checks or maintenance. In commercial or industrial settings, the height requirement aids in maintaining a safe working environment, minimizing the risk of tripping hazards, and ensuring that qualified personnel can easily access the panel for necessary operations or repairs. The NEC specifications are not arbitrary. They are carefully considered guidelines designed to minimize risks and promote safe electrical practices. Article 404.10 is just one component of a comprehensive set of regulations intended to govern electrical installations and ensure the safety of people and property. Understanding and adhering to these regulations is paramount for electricians, contractors, and anyone involved in electrical work. To further elaborate on the importance of the 3-foot minimum height requirement, consider the scenario where a panel is mounted too low. This could lead to several potential issues. Firstly, the risk of accidental contact with live electrical components is increased, particularly in environments where there is foot traffic or where children are present. Secondly, access for maintenance and repairs is significantly hindered. An electrician might have difficulty reaching the panel to perform necessary tasks, potentially leading to unsafe working conditions. Thirdly, the reduced clearance around the panel could create a fire hazard, as heat generated by the electrical equipment might not dissipate properly. In contrast, a panel mounted at the correct height allows for ample working space, reducing the risk of accidents and facilitating efficient maintenance. The electrician can comfortably access the panel with the necessary tools and equipment, ensuring that the work is performed safely and effectively. Furthermore, the increased clearance promotes better ventilation, reducing the risk of overheating and potential fire hazards. It is also important to note that the 6 feet 7 inches height requirement for disconnect switches is equally crucial for safety. This height is intended to prevent accidental contact with the switch, particularly by individuals who might not be aware of the potential dangers. Mounting the disconnect switch at this height ensures that it is out of reach of children and minimizes the risk of inadvertent operation. The NEC guidelines are not static. They are continuously reviewed and updated to reflect the latest advancements in electrical technology and to address emerging safety concerns. Therefore, it is essential for electricians and other professionals to stay abreast of the current NEC requirements and to ensure that their work complies with the latest standards. Ignoring these regulations can have serious consequences, including fines, legal liabilities, and, most importantly, the risk of injury or death. In addition to the height requirements, the NEC also specifies other important considerations for panel board installation, such as the need for adequate lighting and clear working space around the panel. These requirements are intended to further enhance safety and accessibility. For example, adequate lighting ensures that the electrician can clearly see the electrical components and wiring, reducing the risk of errors. Clear working space allows the electrician to move freely around the panel and to perform the necessary tasks without obstruction. When installing a panel board, it is essential to carefully consider all of the NEC requirements and to ensure that the installation complies with these standards. This includes not only the height requirements but also the requirements for lighting, working space, and other important considerations. By adhering to these regulations, you can help to ensure the safety of people and property and to prevent electrical accidents. It is also crucial to remember that the NEC is not the only set of regulations that might apply to electrical installations. Local building codes and other regulations might also impose additional requirements. Therefore, it is essential to consult with local authorities and to ensure that your work complies with all applicable codes and regulations. In some jurisdictions, for example, there might be stricter requirements for panel board installation in certain types of buildings or occupancies. By familiarizing yourself with all of the relevant codes and regulations, you can avoid potential problems and ensure that your work is in compliance. The NEC is a comprehensive and complex document, and it can be challenging to navigate and understand all of the requirements. Therefore, it is often helpful to consult with experienced electricians or other professionals who are familiar with the NEC. These professionals can provide valuable guidance and assistance in interpreting the code and ensuring that your work complies with all applicable standards. In addition to consulting with professionals, there are also many resources available to help you learn more about the NEC. These resources include training courses, workshops, and online materials. By taking advantage of these resources, you can enhance your knowledge of the NEC and improve your ability to perform safe and compliant electrical installations. It is also important to note that the NEC is not a substitute for good judgment and common sense. Even if your work complies with all of the NEC requirements, it is still essential to exercise caution and to follow safe work practices. This includes wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses, and taking steps to prevent electrical shock. By combining your knowledge of the NEC with safe work practices, you can minimize the risk of accidents and ensure the safety of yourself and others. Furthermore, the NEC also addresses the proper selection and installation of electrical equipment, including panel boards. It specifies requirements for the type of panel board that can be used in different applications, the size of the conductors that must be used to connect the panel board to the electrical system, and the overcurrent protection devices that must be installed to protect the panel board from overload and short circuits. These requirements are intended to ensure that the electrical system is properly designed and installed and that it can safely handle the electrical load. When selecting a panel board, it is essential to choose one that is appropriately sized for the application and that meets all of the applicable NEC requirements. This includes considering the number of circuits that will be connected to the panel board, the amperage of each circuit, and the voltage of the electrical system. You should also ensure that the panel board is listed by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, to ensure that it meets safety standards. Similarly, when installing the panel board, it is essential to follow the manufacturer's instructions and to comply with all of the NEC requirements for wiring, grounding, and overcurrent protection. This includes using the correct size and type of conductors, properly terminating the conductors at the panel board and at the circuit breakers, and installing the appropriate overcurrent protection devices to protect the panel board from overload and short circuits. In addition to the technical requirements, the NEC also addresses the importance of proper documentation and labeling. It requires that all electrical equipment, including panel boards, be properly labeled to identify its function and its electrical characteristics. This labeling is intended to help electricians and other qualified personnel to quickly and easily identify the equipment and to understand its electrical ratings. The NEC also requires that electrical systems be properly documented, including the location of all panel boards, the circuits that are connected to each panel board, and the electrical characteristics of each circuit. This documentation is intended to help electricians and other qualified personnel to troubleshoot electrical problems and to perform maintenance and repairs safely and efficiently. By following these documentation and labeling requirements, you can help to ensure that the electrical system is properly maintained and that it can be safely operated for many years to come. In conclusion, the NEC minimum height requirement for mounting electrical panels is a critical safety measure that helps to prevent accidents, facilitate maintenance, and protect children from electrical hazards. By understanding and adhering to this requirement, as well as all of the other applicable NEC regulations, you can help to ensure the safety of people and property and to prevent electrical accidents. Remember to consult with qualified professionals and to stay abreast of the latest updates to the NEC to ensure that your work complies with the current standards. This comprehensive approach to electrical safety will contribute to a safer and more reliable electrical system for everyone. Remember to prioritize safety in all electrical work, and always seek guidance from qualified professionals when needed.